Back in studio, Joe Musso alongside the two-time champ Bryant McFadden. And B-Mac, this is a Ravens team that's almost created in your mind's eye. Tough, bruising, you do the little things right, you play defense, you run the ball.
Yep.
It didn't seem like they did any of those all that effectively on this day. What have you made of this early effort or lack thereof? Obviously, the opener is such a close call, but this one felt like there's some things definitely to be worked on there in Baltimore.
Well, they left the door open for the Raiders. You could have easily closed the opportunity for the Raiders and just walked away with your first win for this season, but they just left it open. They didn't want to finish the drill. And you got to tip your hats to Coach Pierce, Antonio Pierce, and his staff, because those guys kept believing. They kept pushing the envelope until the opportunities presented themselves, and they cashed in those said opportunities. The Ravens outgained the Raiders, especially when it comes to running the football. I mean, they were taking advantage of the opportunities and putting pressure on Gardner Minshew. But the one element where they lost the ball game, Joe, was penalties. The Ravens had 11 penalties for 109 yards of negative yards, compared to the Raiders only having 3 penalties for 15 yards. And then they lost the fourth quarter. Gardner Minshew scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. 13 points in the fourth quarter. That does not happen in Baltimore, not at home, when you're a playoff caliber team. When you had a letdown last week on the road, Thursday Night Football against Kansas City, you knew how important this ball game was, and you played a team that looked horrible against the Chargers in week 1. I mean, this line was set at 8.5, 9, depending on where you were shopping.
Yeah.
Many feel like this wouldn't even be a competitive ball game. Lamar Jackson was supposed to be on the sideline in the fourth quarter because the game would be out of reach. That's why you got to love the NFL, because when you think you know, you don't know. You don't know what is going to happen. And hats off to the Raiders. They came with a game plan, they executed, and Davante Adams showed up.
Let me ask you this, because we've rolled the numbers out throughout the entire day, the 11% chance you have when starting 0-2. Not since 2007 have we seen a team start 0-2 and go on to win the Super Bowl. It was the Giants then. The Ravens obviously have those types of aspirations, but does it change in your mind what this team is capable of these 2 games, or are they built to defy those types of odds, get to the playoffs, and maybe make a run at a Super Bowl?
Yeah, it doesn't change my mind. I think the concern that I have with the Ravens is that defensively, they've lost a few guys from that defense from a year ago, along with their defensive coordinator and Mike McDonald, who is now the head coach. You don't have Patrick Queen anymore. You know, Stone, who was a ball-hawking safety in the back end, he's no longer there. And the defense let them down in the second half, especially the fourth quarter, like I mentioned. Lamar Jackson had 247 yards, you know, throwing, a touchdown, a costly interception. As a team, they ran the ball for 27 times for 151 yards and 5.6 yards per pop. So those are winning numbers. It's just that the defense, they're not getting the timely stops that we've seen in years past. And that has been a concern if you look at what we've seen in 2 weeks of play. We saw Pat Mahomes, you know, have success against the Ravens.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, you kind of give the Ravens an excuse because week 1, Pat Mahomes, you know, Andy Reid. Okay, cool. When you go into this matchup, Gardner Minshew, Antonio Pierce, a staff that's trying to really set the foundation there. They're not supposed to have success against the Ravens defense, especially in the back end, late in the fourth quarter, when you're allowing 13 points, double-digit points in the fourth quarter. When you have the lead, you're supposed to find a way to finish the drill. When Derrick Henry scored that fourth quarter touchdown, when you watch the game, you feel like, uh-oh, that's it. Somebody's going to make a play for the Ravens. No one answered the call, and they left the window open. Like I said, the door was open, cracked a little bit for the Raiders to get through, and they got through with their first win for this season.
And that is foundational for that franchise. No matter the coach, no matter the quarterback, no matter who's on that roster, the silver and black do not quit. And they finished through the line, as you said, on this drill, coming away with a win over the Ravens.